So good afternoon, everyone. So I will explain the overview of the nuclear regulatory licensing review and inspection program in Japan. This is my biography. So I joined the JICC the last October. So before joining the JICC, I worked for the electric power company. So Mr. Toda mentioned I have no experience working for the nuclear authorities. So, however, the Japanese nuclear regulatory authority, which is called NRA, so doesn't usually participate in the seminars like this. So, instead, I will explain the Japanese regulation, especially after the before the operation, so licensing review and inspections. So my presentation consists of about the Japanese NRA and the regulatory requirements and the licensing review and the inspection process. The first is about the Japanese NRA. So this is a conceptual diagram of the Fukushima Daiichi accident. So in short, simply stated, the simultaneous loss of all safety functions as a common cause failure, mainly due to the tsunami, which led to the loss of the cooling and the core damage. And this figure shows the air dose rate map as of the May 2011 in the Fukushima prefecture. So just after the Fukushima Daiichi accident, the environmental pollution occurred by the accident. So radioactive material were dispersed specifically to the northwest part due to the wind direction at the time. So the NRA was established as the regulatory reform. Following the Fukushima Daiichi accident. So before the Fukushima Daiichi accident, the regulatory functions existed in the several locations. But after the Fukushima Daiichi accident, all regulatory functions has been integrated in the single organizations. So in addition, regulatory body has been independent from the METI. So METI is an agency promoting the nuclear power generation. And reflecting on the Fukushima Daiichi accident, so NRA created its core value and the principles. Examples, bearing in mind that NRA was established to absorb and to learn the lessons of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear accident, and determine that everyone involved in the nuclear activities must have a high degree of responsibility and ethical values and seek to achieve the highest level of the global safety. So this is the NRA organizational structures. So the department highlighted in the yellow are responsible for the licensing. And the following the three sheet describes the NRA's mission and the principles. So I'd like to introduce the two key principles. One is independent decision making. So NRA shall make decisions independently based on the latest scientific and technological information, free from any outside pressure or bias. And the second one is the open and transparent organization. So NRA shall ensure the transparency and appropriate information disclosure on regulations, including the decision-making process. And the NRA shall be open to all opinions and advice from the Japan and international community, and avoid both self-isolation and self-righteousness. So NRA widely disseminate the information to the public and the media. Through the regular press conference and briefings, and also NRA the latest information updated in their website in a timely manner. So this photo is from the YouTube video. So everyone can enjoy. Everyone can watch. Okay, not enjoy, watch. Okay. Simply stated, be independent, but don't be isolated. This is a very core concept of the NRA. Okay, I would like to skip this slide. So this is NRA's regional office. So there are the 22 NRA regional offices and the 70 resident inspection as of September 2024. And so this is the legal framework. So Reactor Regulation Act. The square in the red is the stipulates a regulation regarding the installation, the modification, and operation, and emergency preparedness, and inspections, and reporting obligations for the nuclear power plants. So you can download this act from this URL, which is written in the English. So I think it has informative contents for you. Okay, I'll move on to the regulatory requirements. So the following the two slides describes the NRA's basic policies in the new requirements. So one is to place emphasis on the defense in depth. So as you know, the defense in depth is one of the most common policies for the nuclear safety. And the second one is to emphasize design basis and strengthen protective measures against natural phenomena which may lead to the common cause failures. The countermeasures are considered to ensure the diversity and independence. So the second one is most time-consuming items for the licensing review and inspection in Japan. And the third is to enhance the countermeasures against events other than the natural phenomena, so that may trigger the common cause failures. So, for examples, the measures for the fire protection and the countermeasures against the internal flooding, and the reinforcement of the power supply system to prevent the power failures. So have you heard of the cliff edge effect? No. There are several definitions, but simply stated, so there is no problem before the certain limit was exceeded, but once that the limit is exceeded, the safety function of system is suddenly lost. In the case of the Fukushima Daiichi, the tsunami exceeded a certain height, so that cause the safety system to malfunction all at once. And so this cliff edge effect could happen not only due to the natural phenomena, so but also the internal flooding and internal fires. So to prevent cliff edge effect is the crucial in the design and operation of the nuclear power plant. So it is a very important point for the regulation and operation. And this slide describes the basic policies against severe accident and terrorism. So I will introduce some of them. To prepare the multi-layered protective measures, including the prevention of the core damage, the maintenance of the containment integrity, and control the release by venting to suppress the radioactive material dispersion. And the second one is the use of mobile equipment and enhance reliability by permanent equipment. The third is strengthen the emergency response center, the communication system, and instrumentations. The fourth is diverse mobile equipment and the connected point of them to combat the intentional aircraft crashes. So I will explain these items after that. So this is the summarized conceptual diagram. So what I have explained so far. So I'd like to skip to explain this slide. So this slide, so comparison between the previous and the new regulation requirement. So the former presentation already explained. So I would like to explain the square red, the items, tornado, the forest fires, and the internal flooding, and so measures against the severe accident, and the measures against the terrorism. So this is the technical plate in the world. So as you well know, Estonia is placed on the Eurasian plate, okay, and have a very stable ground. So my understanding, the impact of the earthquake and the tsunami and the volcano is very small in your country. Extremely small, yes. So as opposed to the Japan, okay? Yeah. So I would like to skip the impact of the corresponding to the natural phenomena. So I heard that so your country sometimes experience the forest fires, right? So to prevent a forest fire from the spreading, the trees are cut down and the fire breaks are created that are free of the combustible materials. So the upper figure shows an image of the entire fire breaks in the nuclear power stations. The red line, and the left bottom photo shows Kashiwazaki carriers, the fire break. So you can see the trees cut down and combustible material has been removed. So I think this is this could be the reference for your country. And my understanding is that your country has a less experience of the tornado, right? But the strong wind sometimes blow in your country, right? So concerning the largest tornado that have occurred in the past, the flying object protection equipment is installed to ensure the safety functions are not lost. So these are the images of the flying object protection equipment to protect the safety functions. So this is also the could be the reference for your country. And this table shows the comparison between the previous and the new regulation requirement for the power sources. So I'd like to skip the read out these descriptions, but compared to the previous regulatory requirements regarding the off-site power and the on-site AC power source and the on-site DC power sources, the new regulation requires the independence and diversity and the multiplicities. So as I mentioned, internal fire could trigger the common cause failures. So the new regulations requires measures to prevent the fire, measures for the fire protections. And new regulation requires the use of non-combustible material for cables installed in the structure system component with the safety functions. And the non-combustible is confirmed by the vertical test. So this photo is a sample of the verification test for the self-extinguishing performance for the non-combustible material. So this is a vertical frame test. And also the internal flooding may trigger the common cause failures. So the new regulation requires the strength and the measure for the internal flooding. So I'd like to skip the readout the detailed description, but the requires categorically watertight reinforced doors and the flood barriers and the dikes and leak detection systems, and especially in Japan, the seismic, but you don't need the seismic. The pressure resident equipment and the backup water injection system is required. The following the three sheet describes measure to the severe accident. So this slide shows measures to prevent the core damage. The new regulation requires measures to prevent the core damage. So even in the event of the loss of safety function due to the common cause. For examples, and as for the BWL, so in the event of the power failure, the open safety relief valve by using the mobile power source to reduce the pressure inside the RPV and injected water into the RPV using the mobile water injection system. And the second one is measures to prevent a containment vessel failure. So new regulation requires measures to prevent a containment vessel failure in the event of the core damage. So for example, number one is the installed the filtered venting system to reduce the pressure and the temperature inside the containment vessel to reduce the radioactive material while exhausting. And example number two is prepare the system, the mobile pump and the hoses to inject the water into the lower parts of the containment vessel to cool down the core to prevent containment vessel failures due to the molten cores. And so this is the measures to suppress radioactive material dispersion outside the facilities. The new regulation requires measures to suppress the radioactive materials dispersion in the event of the containment barrier failures. This photo shows the training for the water spray the deployment of the outdoor water spray equipment to those reactor buildings and prevent the plume of the radioactive material contaminate atmospheres. So the final is so measures against terrorism. So new regulation requires so measures against intentional aircraft crashes. The using mainly the mobile equipment are located at the multiple sites, as well as the installation of the permanent backup facilities are designated at the specialized safety facilities. So my understanding is so regulation so against terrorism so vary around the world. So this is a Japanese example, but and especially so there is the few countries requires the permanent backup facility designated as special safety facilities. So I think it is important to look at so global regulation to find appropriate, the suitable for your countries. So this is one of the example, the Japanese example. Okay, I'll move on to the licensing, review, and inspection process. So under the licensing department, there are the 5 sections. So the licensing for the nuclear power plant, highlighted in yellow, is in charge of the licensing, review, and inspection process for the nuclear power plant. So I introduced that licensing, review, and inspection process very briefly. So for checking the conformity of the new regulatory requirement, the applicant will submit the 3 applications. So number 1 is a reactor installation. The number 2 is a plant for construction works. And the number 3 is the operational safety program. And after that, so these applications will be reviewed by NRA in parallel. And so after the approval of the number 2 plant for construction works, the pre-service inspections are carried out. And also after the approval of the number 3, the operational safety program, the operational safety inspections are carried out. So this diagram is the flow of the conformity, the review for the new regulation requirement. So the left side shows the NRA's process, and the right side is the applicant process. So new regulatory requirement was enforced in the July 2013, and the applicant submitted the 3 applications: the reactor installation, plant for construction works, and operational safety program. And after that, NRA will review these applications in parallel. So just as I mentioned. And after that, the applicant will amend these applications according to the NRA's findings and comments. So this the NRA review and the applicant amendment process are sometimes so repeating. So especially in the case of the, so there are deficiency of the application documents. And so after that, so NRA will create a draft review document, and finally will give a permission to the applicant, so regarding the reactor installation And regarding the plant for construction work and operational safety program, NRA so will give approval to the applicant, and followed by the pre-service inspection and the operational safety inspections will be carried out by the NRA. So this is the summary of the licensing review and the inspection process. So in the review process regarding the reactor installation, the locations, structure, and equipment of the nuclear reactor facilities and the technical competence of the nuclear power operators are to be examined, so whether or not to meet the new regulatory requirements. So this photo shows NRA's geological survey to confirmed the possibility of the active hold. So in Japan, in Japan, the important facilities of the nuclear power plant shall not be placed on the active hold. So this process is the most time-consuming process in the licensing review process in Japan. And so regarding the plant for the construction work, the detailed design of the nuclear power facilities and the method of the quality management for design and the constructions are to be examined, whether or not they are consistent with a reactor installation. And so regarding the operational safety program, the operational safety measures for the nuclear reactor facilities are examined, whether or not they are sufficient in terms of the maintenance, operation, and the prevention of the disasters. And in the inspection process, so regarding the pre-service inspections, so NRA nuclear facility inspectors examine the nuclear facilities to confirm the conformity to a plant for construction works and the technical standards. So these inspections involves the comparison of the drawing with the actual products, and the testing the devices and the systems to verify their functionalities, and also pressure and the leak test, and the checking the operation of the I&C system, instrumentation and the control system. So these inspections mainly focus on the hardware inspection. Regarding the operational safety inspections, so the two types of the inspections, one is periodical operational safety inspections, which are carried out to assess whether or not the safety activities by operators are appropriate. And the second one is inspections for the checking the compliance with the operational safety program are carried out related to the startup and suspension of the reactors, operations such as the loading nuclear fuels and the drills preparing for the service severe accident. So these inspections mainly focus on the soft aspect of the operations. So including the organization and responsibilities, and so operators qualification and the training programs, and the several the document and the procedures, and the safety culture, and the audit system, such kind of things inspected by the operational safety inspections. So this is a timeline of the review and inspection for checking the conformity to the nuclear regulatory requirements. So as I mentioned, the 3 applications were submitted, and after that the permission, the approval, and after that a pre-service inspection will be carried out. So regarding the pre-service inspection will be finished after the completion of the final performance test at the full power to verify whether or not the nuclear power plant functions work as designed at the rated output. And regarding the operational safety inspection, will continue even after the commercial performance, commercial operations. So before the operation, the special inspection will be carried out at the timing of the fuel loading and the startup. And the inspection for drill on the severe accident will be carried out more than once a year before startup. So this is the summary and the timeline of the Japanese licensing review and inspection process. So in Japan, new regulatory standard has not been applied to the newly established nuclear power plant. So, however, are being applied to the existing nuclear power plant for restarting. So this is the first case at the Sendai Unit 1, which is a PWR. So the Kyushu Electric Power Company submitted these applications in July 2013, and the plant was restarted in the September 2015. The period from the application to restart is about 2 years. So this is a BWR case. So at the Onagawa Unit 2, the Tohoku Electric Power Company submitted these applications in December 2013, and the plant was restarted in the November 2024. The period from the application to restart is about 11 years, so very long period. So also the Onagawa Nuclear Power Station didn't suffer the severe accident, but the several damages was occurred by Great East Japan earthquake, and so it took a long time to repair these damages, and also reinforced the plant to be the earthquake and the tsunami resistant. In addition, the Onagawa Unit 2 is a BWR, the same as Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant. So the review and inspection process took longer than the PWR. And so even a PWR, so in the case of the Tomari Unit 3, the period from the application to a reactor installation permission is about 12 years. So the reason why the review process took so long time is prolonging the geological survey to verify not to be an active hold. And So there are the several deficiencies in the application document. So that led to the repeating amendment. So so from this point of view, to the shorten the review period, so it is important to make a sufficient preparation to ensure the description in the document based on the scientific and the technological data, and also the less deficiency. So these are lessons learned to shorten the review period. So this is for your reference. So as I mentioned, the new regulatory standard has not to be applied to the newly established nuclear power plant. So this is a typical workflow for the preparation of nuclear power plant construction in Japan before Fukushima Daiichi accident. So the construction period is varied, but about around 5 years. But licensing period depended on the situation. So in the case of there were the many technical issues and the first of a kind technology. The license period was prolonged. But in the case of there is a less technical issues, the license period was short. So it's depend on the situation. But before the Fukushima Daiichi accident, this is so the structure of the entire work for the newly established nuclear power plant construction in Japan. So this is also reference of the regulatory and the guidance guide structure in Japan. So this is just a reference. So I would like to skip to explain. And you can download the notification and the internal regulation and guidance, unfortunately, which is only written in Japanese. So please use Google Translate so in your country's word. Okay. So in summary, the first is a regulatory body must be independent and free from any outside pressure or bias, but avoid self-isolation and self-righteousness. So be independent and don't be isolated is a core value. And the second one is enhancing the countermeasures against events that may trigger the common cause failure is a top priority for the plant design and operation. So it is a very important point for the operator and regulation. And the third one is clarifying the regulatory requirements and the licensing process will improve efficiency for both regulator and licensees. So just now, Yamashita-san mentioned cost overrun. Is one of the causes of the cost overrun is uncertainty of the regulatory requirement and licensing process, especially in the case that the regulatory requirement license process changed. So during the licensing and license review and inspections. So in this case, that the cost overrun is highly likely. Okay, thank you for your attention. So I hope the information I have mentioned will be useful for your future nuclear power project. Thank you.
Is there any question? Easy question.
Yeah.
Chris Cannon with Sergeant Lundy. So you have a great deal of experience, and my questions are really revolving around your interactions with the regulatory aspects before and after the reorganization with the Fukushima accident. How do you feel the regulator is now as compared to their effectiveness before?
So the before the Fukushima Daiichi accident, so the regulatory process is not so transparent. So after the Fukushima Daiichi accident, so all process, so including the discussion with the licensee, so is open to the public, and posted on the YouTube every time, so everyone can watch the YouTube. So it's a very open and transparent and so independent from the promoting the nuclear power. So it's a very totally different from the previous and now. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Also, Sergeant Lundy, I'm John Michael Murray. So this is related to the principle you mentioned of avoiding self-isolation and also preventing the regulator from becoming the cause of cost overruns or contributing to the cost overruns. What kind of mechanisms do you have in place to prevent the regulator from becoming too strict?
So regulatory too strict is so very important for the nuclear safety, but the frequently the change the rule is a very destructive. So especially the timing of the review and inspection is a very very complex situation will be created, and the period of the regulation, the review and inspection period prolonging, and also the cost overrun will be happened. So independent is very important, but communication with regulation and operation is also very important. So don't be isolated is very important.
Thank you.
Okay, no question? Okay, thank you, my boss.